I, too, sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes. But I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody'll dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I, too, am America. Langston Hughes. It is indeed a glorious and joyous pleasure to be here with you today, Grantmakers in the arts. You have a big job, a major responsibility. But as James Baldwin once said, the challenge is in the moment. The time is always now. So let's seize the moment. Eh? I applaud you on your racial equity and arts philanthropy statement of purpose, which says, to increase arts funding for African, Latino, Asian, Arab, and Native American artists, arts organizations, children, and adults. You go on to say, all people, their culture, and their arts contribute to the meaning and understanding of our humanity and should be honored and celebrated. That's strong. That's beautiful. That's revolutionary. So I am here today to give you courage and passion to carry out the mission you so boldly have begun. In our time today, I hope to share insight and personal perspective as one of your soldiers in your army of artists and philanthropists impacting the world through our efforts. Maybe some of my personal experiences will help to clarify the picture. Maybe we will see something that lifts our weight as we all explore together the possibilities of our artistic reach. You see, I grew up in Tallahassee, Florida. It's a country boy, a poor family, poor materially, but wealthy in other ways. I was primarily raised by my grandmother, who gave birth to 13 children. My mother had me when she was 15 years old. But without support from programs throughout my life, I wouldn't be standing here today. Without programs like Upward Bound, which gave support to low-income families that had college potential, I would not have stepped foot onto a college campus. Without programs like the National Endowment for the Arts, the Theater Communications Group, those two programs allowed me a tremendous opportunity when I was selected as a member of their Director Fellow program and had the opportunity to observe professional directors and designers at some great regional theaters. As an early career director, I had the necessary private and governmental funding to work in the prison system. I've had the opportunity to work with the homeless population. So not only did I serve those populations, but I further grew as an artist as I created art to give voice to dreams. So you see, I've had tremendous blessings. I served as artistic director of a major theater company, a major white theater company here in the South. While there, receiving the financial support to produce plays that had impact on issues of race and class. I have served as founder and artistic director of a smaller theater company in the South that produced African-American classics. I have been blessed to have directed going on 10 Broadway shows in the commercial world, up north in New York. I have also directed episodic television, Private Practice, The Ghost Whisperer, and many made-for-television movies, most of that work being done out west. In fact, on December 3rd, you can turn on your television and watch The Wiz musical live, of which I am directing for NBC. I have, so I'm really blessed, I have created a world-class opera. I produced Toni Morrison's first opera. I have worked at almost every major regional theater company in America. Done a lot. And I know some things. I don't know everything, but I have learned some things along the way. For instance, I've learned that an unrestricted $50,000 gift is a precious thing. I've learned that an unrestricted $50,000 gift is more impactful than a restricted $5,000 gift. I've learned that multi-year grants are a blessing, saving our human resources from constantly reapplying and instead making new relationships. Multi-year grants also demonstrate that you trust the artist to manage the money and to do what they say they're going to do. At some level, funding is about faith and trust. And no matter where you find it, trust is trust. And I've been all around this country, and I've learned that some of the smaller organizations are more smartly managed than some of the larger infrastructures. No offense. I've learned that we need courage. Courage to look at things differently. I've learned along the way that every life should have equal value. I've learned that we cannot be afraid to put an economic price tag on equality. I've learned along the way we need to have the courage to say, when it comes to equality, that we are not there yet. We are where we are. And that's a good thing if you know where we are. I've learned that rewarding the largest infrastructure alone only empowers that infrastructure. In this multiracial, multicultural world, we as people process information and systems differently. Our rituals, our habits are different. Our arts and our spirits are shaped differently. Individual artists can contribute just as much as artists who thrive in institutions. We can develop systems that reward as many different ways as there are people on the planet. Arts funding must acknowledge our differences. We must continue to engage ways to not just reward excellence, but build excellence. We can incite it. We can induce it. We must uphold it. I have met many of you in this room. Some of you, like Lisa, are friends. Janet is a new friend. Some of you I only know from the other end of a telephone line or by your signature on a piece of paper sharing the good news or wishing me better luck next time. But I know we are all on the same team. I know, like you, that deep down we all know that our arts are the soul and the conscience of the people. We all know without the arts, there is a hole in the soul of America. We know that our beauty is in our diversity. We know this. We know our beauty is in our democracy. We know this. And we have to accept the fact that sometimes we won't be able to see the fruits of our labor. I have discovered as a director, many times the beauty is in the doing. Many times the beauty is in the process. Do what's right. Sometimes it's hard. I know. But like my mama said, right ain't never wrong. And right don't wrong nobody. Now is the time for arts professionals and arts philanthropists to lead, to courageously seek solutions to what would impact and inspire a more beautiful world, a more beautiful country. Some of us direct, some of us act, some of us stitch, some of us create, some of us find resources, some of us manage the money, but it takes all of us to reach that potential greatness, to be that great country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. America. As cultural custodians, as stewards of the arts in America, you are on the right road with your statement of purpose on racial equality, and you can speak confidently and passionately about that purpose. Let's hear all of America. Let's see all of America. Let's paint all of America. Let's create all of America for all of America. I took a train trip from New York City a few weeks back to Pennsylvania before that horrible Amtrak crash, and God knows my heart goes out to those families. But you can learn a lot on a train trip if you turn off the iPhone and the iPad, put down the newspaper, and just sit down and listen and look out the window. As we hit Pennsylvania, I realized that there's a lot to witness between Philly and Pittsburgh, even just in the one state of Pennsylvania. Or as a gentleman who sat next to me referred to the land between those two popular cities, Pennsyltucky. I believe he was Native American, but I couldn't be sure. He defined Pennsyltucky as the political and ideological differences among the people of Pennsylvania, with a wink and a nod toward the nearby state of Kentucky. He spoke for miles about the vast differences among the people and their politics, the blue and the red states within the one state, their sports allegiances, the Sixers and the Eagles, the Penn State, their economic disparities, their different views on arts and education, their views on health care. What a trip. I saw America that day. Or let's say I saw a glimpse of America. The train moves on. Wow, 3 women tending to the soil on a farm, a big farm, their colorful scarves wrapped around their necks, blowing in the wind. I won't soon forget that image. Hands in the brown earth against a backdrop of beauty, with the yellow, blue, and orange fabric flying freely around their necks. Train moves on. There's a horse-drawn carriage. Ah, Amish country, I conclude. The train moves on. On a hillside is the largest American flag I have ever seen. It has to be as wide as a football field. How can the wind even lift it up like that? It waves and waves as we ride by. The train moves on. There's a junkyard. All that scrap iron, bent and twisted cars. That's art without even trying. And as we ride by, I see so many telegram poles, lots of telegram poles. Who put those telegram poles in the ground? My mind wonders, who laid the track we are riding on? We ride on. There's some beautiful graffiti on the side of a bridge. Who did that? Who created that art? And why did they get up there? And what kind of brush did they use? And did they use some kind of markers? And how did they do all that? Next stop, Johnstown. A family of 8 gets on the train. Where is this family of European ancestry headed? Somebody going where somebody just came from. Somebody going where somebody just came from. Reminds me of a line from The Piano Lesson, an August Wilson play. My dear friend August Wilson, who I had the opportunity to direct his last 2 Broadway shows and work with him on the last one as he was battling cancer, and he told me he had 5 months to live, and we had to finish that last play. And every Monday, I would venture out to his house because he could not be in rehearsal. So on Mondays, I would fly from L.A. to Seattle to sit on the porch and to share moments with August Wilson. And he died a few months after that. There's not a day goes by that I don't think about that great artist and that great American. But August, he delivered a speech at the Theater Communications Group conference in 1996. And it was a speech talking about art and funding. And he delivered this speech in 1996, and it was entitled, "The Ground on Which I Stand." Beautiful. Time would not permit me to adequately address the many points of agreement and disagreement of that wonderfully laid out speech, but I will quote him in an effort to serve our talk today, as it also echoes some of my personal feelings. Speaking as a black American artist, August says, "We did not sit on the sidelines while the immigrants of Europe, through hard work, skill, cunning, guile, and opportunity, built America into an industrial giant of the 20th century. It was our labor in the shipyards, in the stockyards, in the coal mines, and the railroads. And when America was challenged, we strode on the battlefield, our boots strapped on and our blood left to soak into the soil of places whose names we could not pronounce, against an enemy whose only crime was ideology. We left our blood in France and Korea and the Philippines and Vietnam, and our only reward has been the deprivation of possibility and the denial of our moral personality. We can meet on the common ground of the American theater, but we cannot share a single value system if that value system consists of the values only of white Americans based on their European ancestors. We reject that as cultural imperialism. We need a value system that includes our contributions as Africans in America. Our agendas are as valid as yours. We may disagree. We may forever be on opposite sides of aesthetics, but we can only share a value system that is inclusive of all Americans and recognizes their unique and valuable contributions. We must develop the ground together." August Wilson. All America must one day own up to the truth and facts of our history. Only then can we move on to our beautiful, authentic future together. Not just the black and white history, but the brown and the yellow past as well. On the train that day, a vision popped into my head. I saw a man standing with a suitcase in his hand in that land of Pennsatucky. Then I imagined that man as myself, Kenny Leon, standing, holding a suitcase. I started to imagine that countryside sprinkled with Americans holding suitcases. Some of my white brothers had their suitcases on the ground and were walking around comfortable and relaxed. Then I saw my Native American brothers and sisters with their suitcases, but they were running around, running in circles with closed suitcases, inside of which I imagined were land deeds of ownership, promises from federal authorities, hundreds of thousands of keys to unknown buildings. I saw my Latino brother kneeling to open his suitcase, but constantly looking over his shoulder, never quite trusting that he had the freedom to do so. I saw an Arab brother with a suitcase. His was tucked under his arm, and he was holding on to it so tightly, not wanting to risk losing it. All of these Americans were wrapped in American flags. Then I noticed them. I noticed that they were staring at me. They wanted to know what was inside my suitcase. I said to them, "In my suitcase is a copy of the Constitution of the United States of America. Inside my suitcase are emancipation papers. Inside my suitcase is my passbook from a slave ship. Inside my suitcase are my baptismal papers. Inside my suitcase is a giant mirror and a note from Shakespeare to hold as 'twere a mirror up to nature. Also in the suitcase is a death threat letter I received after I was named artistic director of that white theater from the South. Along with the scales of justice, in that suitcase are clothes and personal toiletries, a key to the country, whatever that means. And on top of all that, on a small piece of paper written in bold letters, do more for others than you do for yourself. I said to them, you see, I want to sit and unpack my suitcase. I want to put stuff in the dresser drawer of life with mints on the pillow, surrounded by the beauty that is all of us. White, brown, yellow, red, black, and shades yet unimagined. And share life stories with all of you, because we are God's gift to each other. Because I, too, sing America. I want every citizen to be able to unlock their suitcases, unpack their stuff, settle in, and be at home. And when everyone is home with shoes kicked off, telling their stories, then and only then can we take a deep breath, own our past, and declare this country finally equal, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The challenge is in the moment, my friends. The time is always now. All people, their culture and their arts contribute to the meaning and understanding of our humanity and should be honored and celebrated. Your words, our words need help. Our words are calling us to action. All of us must report to duty to deliver a more inclusive, diversified, well-funded, artistic America. Thank you.